Welcome to the Saturday's Unfiltered show. This is the official episode number 2 of the show. It's October 30th, 2025. We're entering week 10 of the college football season. Some pretty groundbreaking news that shocked kind of the college football landscape this past week. Brian Kelly out at LSU. A lot of stories have kind of been popping up since then from some former staffers, some former players. A couple analysts have spoken their mind. I never thought I've never liked Brian Kelly. I didn't really care that he was fired, but this is certainly the premier job in the sport now. There's a lot of job openings. Any of y'all got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you also saw this too, Connor, out with Boone or anything like that. But their athletic director just got fired as well about 10, 15 minutes ago.
Really?
I think it had to do with the comments, going back and forth with the governor
Yeah, I mean that's
earlier
wild.
this week. Yeah, absolutely insane to say. But yeah, he was a little bit of breaking news. He was just let go about 15 minutes ago. So complete overfill for
Yeah.
LSU. Whatever
So-
coach is going there next, you got to imagine he's not having just keys to the castle. He's getting the whole freaking compound too. So you'd have to think, Lane Kiffin is probably the most attractive name that's come up in the entire sport right now. You'd have to imagine it looks a little bit better now. Granted, I don't think Lane, if he wasn't going to take the Florida job, would take the LSU job either. But I don't know, dude. There's a lot of guys that could take it. I would have thought a sneaky candidate would have maybe been Matt Rule. I don't know how qualified he maybe would have been, but more news that happened today. He signs an extension.
Nebraska
So
sent it, yeah.
I think that, I don't know. We're just in tune. We said it last week, the week before. This coaching offseason is going to be just absolutely ridiculous kind of form of events. Now, to me, we're getting on the fringe of this coaching offseason might be better than this football season if possible.
Yeah, I mean, the jobs aren't finished opening either. Auburn, I think, is going to open. Florida State, I think, is going to open. Wisconsin should open. Please open the Wisconsin job. I like Luke Fickell, but if I was a fan, a booster, I would not put a penny into that program if they bring Luke Fickell back. Absolute disaster up north. At North Carolina, I think is going to open. But I did expect the AD to get fired. I'm not surprised it's happening right now, but that is now an interim university president that they have at LSU, a vacant athletic director, a vacant head coach, and the governor is basically said they're going to get the hire right this time, appointing a new search committee for it. I kind of don't. I think the LSU job is way better than the Florida job. I think it's probably maybe the second best job in college football outside of Ohio State. I think this is the job that could get Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin would go to Florida. I don't think Florida is near as high level of a job as it was a couple years ago. Now, I don't know if Lane Kiffin's going to go to LSU. I think it's either LSU or Ole Miss. He's either staying or he's going to LSU, though. But, man, LSU could get almost any candidate they want outside of maybe like 5 to 6 names. So this is definitely going to be like the trickle-down spot, really. Like, whoever they get could probably determine a lot of the other coaching searches. Might even influence some other jobs that open up, depending on who they go after. I don't think they have to make a flashy hire. I think they have to make a good hire. I was listening to Josh Pate a couple days ago, and he was talking about how he thinks there's 30 head coaching candidates, coordinators, head coaches right now that can win a national championship at LSU. I think there could potentially be even more. Like if you really went down and made a list, since 2000, they've won 3 championships. They are one of 3 programs to do that: Ohio State, Alabama, LSU. And Alabama, with Saban. Saban won one at LSU. They've done it with 3 out of 4 head coaches since 2000 and the Nick Saban hiring. This is a premier job. I'm pretty excited to see who they get. And I don't know if y'all saw this today, but James Franklin may have been confirmed to get the job at Virginia Tech. There's some reports circulating that that's starting to get finalized.
Yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen anything about that. That's got to make the competent South Carolina fans a dime a dozen as they may come, but it has to make them feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Experience in the region. Fired for way too soon at Penn State. That would be a slam dunk hire. I think there's been a lot of talk about the Virginia Tech job and where it stands. I think some boosters have responded to that. I've been reading a lot of reports where they're planning to invest a massive amount of money over the next several years to try and get that program up to the big boys. I think a lot of people might view the Virginia job. I know we've sent some texts about it. The Virginia job has been piling some money into their facilities, their recruiting, their NIL budget. I think Virginia Tech realizes that it's a new age. You can't win without spending. It takes money to win in today's game. If they're able to get that investment and then go get Franklin, I think that kind of pits them into um, the heights that Frank Beamer maybe couldn't get them. I think they could potentially reach that and start contending for championships. Really and truly being in the region that they are, the ability to tap into the Carolinas. You've got the DMV, you've got Pennsylvania. You can still tap into the Ohio region. That to me is a sleeper job if the investment is there. And if James Franklin goes there, I kind of feel like that means the investment is there.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on coaching searches?
Not really anything substantial. I just want LSU to hire Edward John back. I know that's probably not going to happen, but that is a guy that looks like he bleeds for the Tigers to be good.
Yeah,
And I
the
just think
epitome of Louisiana.
Maybe he was fired too early. You know who fired him? The AD who just got fired. He also is the AD who hired Jimbo Fisher. So 2 of the 3 largest buyouts over the past 6 years, one man has been responsible for $120 million in cash. Pretty wild.
it's a shame that James Madison, athletic director, that hired Narduzzi. I mean, not Narduzzi. I'm sorry. That hired Signetti, and then the coach after him just retired because I'd be telling LSU to throw as much money as possible.
Absolutely. Some of those smaller schools really know how to hire coaches. Like like we've been talking about this for a while now. Man, the American Athletic Conference right now is like a breeding ground for future stars at the head coaching position. Sumrall. By the way, I don't know if y'all seen this. I don't know what the score is now, but as of like 20 minutes ago, UTSA was beating Tulane. John Sumrall might be a little unfocused right now. Job open in his home state, a couple other big jobs open. He's a hot name. I kind of wonder if he's got a job that he's pretty much already put pen to paper to. I don't know what the score is now. UTSA is a good team, but man, Tulane, that's a really good football team. That'd be a great hire. But you've got Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. You've got Alex Golish at USF. The Rice coach has completely turned that place around in one off season, bringing a little bit of triple option to the American Conference. You've got Casey Keeler up at Temple. You've got Eric Morris at North Texas. I've heard him linked to the Oklahoma State job. Potentially Arkansas too if they don't go Petrino. Like it's just a future star-studded league of coaches that are just making names for themselves. And I think that's kind of the conference to watch out for in terms of potentially elevating themselves up. Because to me, it's Big Ten, SEC, and then there's a huge drop-off. You got ACC, Big 12. I think the American Conference, these coaches, some of them are going to leave, but if they could retain some of them, get some spending, they could kind of put themselves in position to maybe set, I guess, return a P5. I wouldn't really call it a P5. It's a P2. But, it's been really fun watching that conference so far and those coaches.
Yeah.
Jackson, you want to get us started off with games?
Yeah. So I guess we'll start off with the Texas Vandy game. Is that what you want to start with that? Dude, so I guess for me, this Texas Vandy game really is just going to boil down to I really think the response of Texas having, I don't know, do we know if Arch is playing or not? Is he still in concussion?
Arch is out.
I think I was going to say as of now, I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah, Arch is out.
Right. So, I mean, I think a lot of what Texas is going to have to do is be able to respond to what happened last week, and they're going to have to do what Clemson failed to do against SMU is step up to the plate whenever you have a backup quarterback. I think Texas's defense got exposed just a little bit last week against Mississippi State. Granted, Vandy doesn't play like Mississippi State, so maybe that's not as big of an issue. But I think what it's going to have to come down to is Texas stepping up on offense, number one, and defense. I think that, I mean, it's a high level defense. I think they're going to have to force Pavia to throw the ball. If they can't contain him and his legs, obviously we saw kind of what happened with that Missouri game with Pavia. I mean, his stats didn't look anything like Heisman level, like he's been talking about, to me at least, in that Missouri game. So I think if the offense is able to step up, got some guys willing to be the team leaders in Arch's absence, as well as his backup, just leaning on his experience too. I think he's like a senior. He was at Temple or something like that
Yeah,
before.
he's got some years under his belt.
Right. So like if these guys can just lean on their experience, defense force Vandy to be one-sided here. I know Vandy's coming off a pretty big win, pretty big season, but I think Texas takes this, honestly. I just think that the defense is a bad matchup for Vandy. I think the only reason why Texas's defense looked bad last week was because it's just, I mean, that's a air raid offense at Mississippi State, and they're
Yeah,
just
the
airing the ball
levy,
out.
a little bit of hyple, a little bit of air raid stuff. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think if you can contain Pavia, I mean, control the line of scrimmage on defense, I think you win this game. I think it's close, but I think you win this game.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, Jackson, I mean, you pretty much nailed everything I was going to say. I also think Texas is going to win this game. If the line's still at 2.5, I like them enough to cover that. I think that the quarterback play that Texas has had this year up to this point with Arch Manning, he had that heroic fourth quarter last week and everything. And the past 2, 3 weeks, he has kind of looked like his game and confidence has developed. But I don't think that, like you were saying, this transfer quarterback is going to be so incompetent where you could just bet on Texas's defense to not look good. They've had a little bit of kind of questionable at the running back position based on what we expect of them out of this year. But I kind of just think it's a matchup nightmare for Vanderbilt in terms of offensively. They're probably the best, if not one of the best, red zone teams in the country. And I just don't know if red zone offense is going to be enough to beat this Texas team. Kind of like what you were saying, Jackson. Pavia, is the first to put his name in the Heisman race and everything like that. But I mean, when was the last time this guy threw for over 200 yards against a
Yeah.
competent team? You know what I mean? It's probably dating back to last season because I know he hasn't done it yet this year. So, maybe we do see the Heisman game that kind of propels Pavia into it. Maybe we see another huge run like we did last week at Missouri, which is probably the only reason that they win that game, to be honest. But I just think that Sark is a phenomenal coach, and I don't think that you kind of got to hope that that Texas, like most teams in the SEC, it seems like you got about 5, 6 teams fighting for about one playoff spot left. And you just kind of got to hope that last week for Texas, they've been kind of having these close calls all season, but you got to hope that that scared them straight. They're not going to get another chance if they lose this game to kind of prove to the country that they belong as a contender.
Yeah.
So you're picking Texas as well. Yeah, I like the backup quarterback spot usually. Except when it's Clemson, of course, because we can't win in general. But I usually like the backup QB spot because it makes the team as a collective play better. You can't mess up. I think they may end up having a better passing game too. But I'm gonna pick Vandy here. I think this team's pretty grounded. You kind of have to be when you're Vanderbilt. I don't care that. I like that they've never been here before, like literally ever in program history. Um, so you know, and you're Vanderbilt too. You lose a game and everybody's gonna think you're back to being same old Vandy. Um, they played Bama way closer than the score. It was a red zone turnover that changed the outcome of that game. And I'm not saying they would have won, but it wasn't necessarily a 16-point game. It was a backdoor cover too. Um, a grindy effort last week against Missouri. Um, I don't think Texas is going to be able to run the ball. I don't think their receivers are fast. I don't think they'll be able to create separation. I think that Vanderbilt's offense will look maybe a little similar to Missouri. I think their defense is profiled a little bit the same way. Um, I think Texas's defense has been able to get exposed. I think they got exposed against Florida. Um, I think they obviously got exposed last week. Um, I think they're going to be able to find enough gaps in the Texas defensive scheme and roster to exploit. Cannon doesn't like that take as he leaves the screen in anger and disgust. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll be the odd man out. I'm gonna pick Vandy to win this game. It's a 2.5 point line. I'll take him to cover. I was listening to Josh Pate again Tuesday night, and at the beginning of this season, uh, FanDuel already kind of had like lines set for the entire season. This was a 21.5 point line in Texas' favor.
Dude, I
Typically,
heard that.
that's
Yeah,
a 2.5 point line. That's
that's
absolutely wild.
ridiculous.
And the other team, a 23.5 point shift. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm gonna roll with Vandy here. Better quarterback, better coaching staff too. Um, we'll stay in the state of Texas here. Go to Miami, SMU.
I think this is Miami, bro. I think Chris Paul's got his crystal ball game out of the way. I really do. I just think that this. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that the whole it was like. Yeah, I don't know. I think that Miami's got just more complete pieces than SMU does. Honestly, I think they've got. I think they've got a better quarterback. Yeah. I understand the 4 interceptions. Yeah, blah blah blah. I think they've got a better quarterback. I think they've got better receivers. And I just don't think that I don't think that SMU is really going to be able to run the ball all that well. I mean, is Jennings still hurt? I mean, I know he was like limping in our game. So I mean, with him still being hurt, I think Miami's a more complete team. Chris Ball got his Chris Ball game out of the way. And I think too, if Chris Ball loses this game, I mean, people start to throw some questions around in Miami, right? Because you've had Cam Ward, you've got Carson Beck, right? People have expected you now for 2 seasons in a row now, where they're like, we have really high expectations for this program. You should be doing this, this, and this. And all of a sudden, you sit here and you think, well, we've had 2 guys now. One guy who won the Heisman, or no, excuse me, who was in the Heisman conversation. Another guy who's in the Heisman conversation, and we're not winning these like games that we should win. What seems to be the common denominator here? And I think they point to Chris Ball. So I think if he loses this game, he's in a lot of trouble. So I think that motivates him to, yeah. So I'm gonna take Miami.
You got the cover, 11.5 points.
Ooh, yeah, I'll take the cover. I'll just take the cover. Why not? 2 touchdowns. I think they can win by 2.
Bold man. All right. Um, I'll go ahead and get it. I think SMU is gonna pull off the double digit upset here. Um, Sleeper week last week, man. I don't even know how to explain that. It makes me so angry that they lost last week. This is kind of an ACC championship eliminator. SMU was so close last year to winning the ACC. I think there's a lot of value in that. I mean, you could say the same for Miami, but it's a lot different of a team, different quarterback there. Um, different defensive coordinator. The staff is still mostly pretty grounded together. I don't know if they lost any assistant coaches, but a lot of continuity at key spots. Man, I like the way Lashley coaches too. I don't know what happened last week, especially I mean, maybe a letdown spot after coming off the Clemson win, but to watch them how they played offense against Clemson, and then the following week play against Wake Forest is pretty mind blowing. It's desperation spot really for both teams, but I agree with you. Miami can't lose this game. Miami loses the game, they're out the playoff race, right? Obviously SMU is too. Man, I don't know. SMU beat Clemson with speed. You're not going to be able to beat Miami with speed or physicality, really, because Louisville kind of did, but they were aided by 4 turnovers. you kind of have to hope for a little bit of turnover luck. Um, and just get a crystal ball decision like the Georgia Tech game where they didn't kneel it out, right? Like you just gotta hope for a one or two bad calls from crystal ball, which I think is perfectly possible. Um, even in their wins, sometimes he makes some questionable calls. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a duel. Um, I just I kind of just like SMU here to just pull it off. I don't know. There's not much logic for it in me, really. I think that they've got a creative offensive scheme. I think it'll be enough. I don't. Miami hasn't shown the ability to have gas down the stretch. Um, until they show me that, I'm gonna pick SMU to win this game and put themselves in the driver's seat to their destiny for the ACC championship. All right, Cannon's not back.
You really upset him, bro.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's go a little bit north here, northeast. Oklahoma at Tennessee. Heupel went on the road last year and beat Oklahoma. Now they come to Neyland Stadium. Jackson?
I like Tennessee here, Connor.
Yeah.
I think I think all Tennessee has to do is make Oklahoma work for it, right? Like I think like Mateer just not the same guy he was before the whole little thumb surgery incident. So, um, I mean his like completion percentage has dropped to like what 58, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I think that Oklahoma, yes, they have a good defense, but at the same time, whenever you've got like a high-powered offense like Tennessee, who's got a little bit of weaker defense, whenever your offense just can't keep pace with that, it's really just a war of attrition at that point. And I think that game is just won by Tennessee just slowing the ball game down, make them like it. Even if they score, make it to where it's got to be, I don't know, like 12, 15 snaps to get the ball downfield, something like that. Then I think they take this game. So I'm gonna pick Tennessee.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know
gonna pick
what's the
Tennessee.
line on that game.
6.5 maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'll look it up while I talk.
I'd be fine with the cover there.
Yeah, the Mateer hand injury. I mean, he had surgery on his hand. I get it. Look, not everybody can be like me. When I was in flag football as a quarterback, I played with a sprained wrist. I was still throwing touchdowns. Until our playoff game, and then we had our own Mario Cristobal moment. But yeah, I mean the offensive production, it's not there, right? Like it's not there ever since the injury. I imagine there would have been a little bit of a drop off anyways, just because of how hot they were playing. Um, but man, Tennessee's defense has the ability to make bad offenses look really good, right? Like they're a really bad defense,
Yeah.
really bad defense. And I mean, they lost so many key pieces. It's not a knock on them. Oh wow, I was very wrong. It's a 2.5 point line.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll obviously take the cover there. Um, so can you get a couple stops? If you can get a couple stops, actually I say that I think you'll need more than a couple stops because I do think Oklahoma's defense is good. I think you'll be able to score on them. I think this is going to be a team that's a little worn down. I don't think they have a good running game to support Mateer and his injury. I think that's been proven. I
I agree.
think
Yeah.
I think an area of weakness and massive concern here for Oklahoma is their corner depth has proven to not be as good as I think they thought it was going to be, and that's the major weakness on their defense. If they can't generate pressure, and I think they have to be able to generate pressure without blitzing, I think this game could get out of hand. I'm going to trust Venables a little bit in that. Um, so I think they'll keep it from getting ugly. But man, I just think this team's run out of gas with the QB injury too. I don't see them sustaining it, but it's a massive moment for both teams. It's winter, season's over pretty much. Playoff hopes are over, and that's all that matters in today's college football age is the playoffs or bust. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go with you. Give me Tennessee 2.5 points. I mean, give me the cover too. Um, but I could see it being a little bit of a track race. That over/under is interesting. It's only 55.5. kind of feel like there might be a little bit of value in that, but that Oklahoma offense is pretty bad right now, so I don't know.
Yeah.
They did score 26 last week though. 30 did the over under hit last week, or that would have hit last week against a better defense. I don't know. That's an interesting over under. All right, Southern Cal, Nebraska. 6.5 point line here in favor of Southern Cal in Nebraska Stadium, Cornhusker Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
This one's interesting to me as well. I think USC is going to make a statement. You know, their statement game was the Notre Dame game and they failed.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to make a statement in the sense that they're going to win this game and win convincingly. I think it'll be a borderline blowout, actually. I don't trust Nebraska's defense at all. I think they have some weaknesses. I think USC is going to flex the run game like they never have before. I think the throwing or the passing game is going to be there too. And it's just an opportunity. You know, if this is a Lincoln Riley team of the past, they're going to fall apart. They're going to get out physical. They just got out physical against Notre Dame. They were in that game a little bit longer than I think people give them credit for. Even though, you know, Notre Dame did run for like a quarter of a mile on them. But, yeah, I don't know. I just think Lincoln Riley has massively shifted this program. I love Mayav as a quarterback. I love Makai Lemon as a wide receiver. I think they're underrated as a running game or as a running team. And I think defensively, they've just D'Anton Lynn's done a great job there. The offense for Nebraska has been a little disappointing. Give me Southern Cal with the cover here.
Yeah, I can't help but agree with you here, Connor. I mean, you pretty much hit all the nails on the head. I think one of the things that Notre Dame did really well against USC was really limit that run game, and so that forced USC to become more one-dimensional, and obviously that's pretty predictable whenever you have such a star in Makai Lemon, you know what I'm saying? So I think, like you said, I don't think Nebraska is well equipped to be able to handle this run game and just being able to get it's just going to cause for USC to just be able to set up the way they want to with one of the better offenses in the country. So yeah, I'm taking USC here, and I just don't like Raiola at all. So
Fair enough. All right, Cincinnati, Utah. This is college game day. But man, I feel like nobody's really talking about this game. This is a really good matchup. Really key matchup too. Really key matchup. Utah trying to stay alive in the Big 12 race here. Cincinnati has a chance to put themselves in pole position to get into the Big 12 championship as well. So Utah's been a little disappointing for me. I thought they were going to be a lot better than they were. Cincinnati's offense is really good, really good. Sorrells, their quarterback, he's a really good quarterback. I believe it's Sorrells. But they found a really good offensive scheme. I was not a believer in them this year. I'm not a believer in Scott Satterfield, the head coach there. But man, he's had a good year this year, and it kind of came out of nowhere. It's kind of funny how the Big 12 works. Last year, dead last, Sorsby, not Sorrells. Brendan Sorsby is the quarterback. Arizona State projected to finish last in the Big 12 last year, wins it. Cincinnati was maybe the last place team. Houston was like 14th or 13th. They were my Big 12 sleeper. That's been a pretty solid prediction so far. But man, Cincinnati, I thought that they would be, sitting at like 2 wins maybe right now. And they're in pole position, control their own destiny to get in the Big 12 championship and almost beat Nebraska in week 1. And it's because of their offense. Their defense is pretty bad. They just lost their best pass rusher for the week as well. It's in Salt Lake City. I'm going to take Devon Dampier, Kyle Whittingham, and the Utah Utes to win this game. I don't know what the line is. Doesn't matter. I'll just take the Utah money line here.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think that Cincinnati is going to be able to stop the run at all. As much as I like Sorsby, and I think he's probably one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the entire nation. I mean, I don't really hear a lot of like just chit chatting with people. I don't hear his name come up a lot. So I do like that guy. I do like Cincinnati's offense, but dude, I'm just looking at the way this Colorado game turned out, and it's all right. Granted, it's Colorado, but at the same time, like just the way they were able to just do whatever they wanted to with the run game. I think it's not going to be that bad in terms of a defensive effort, but still, whenever you've got, even if Dampier's out, I mean that the guy who started for him last week was crazy too. So
Is he
I'm
out?
taking the Utes. Huh?
Is he out?
Uh, I don't know if he's out for this game, but I actually don't. Hold on.
I'm
Regardless,
pretty
even
sure.
if he,
Oh, no, that's for the Colorado game.
I thought he was at least questionable.
He
Because
played
the
against
freshman,
Colorado, though, did he not? Okay, no, I
I
see. He's
think
expected to start. Yeah, he's
okay.
expected to start. Okay, yeah. I was that would have maybe changed. I probably still would have taken Utah, but him playing is key there for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So, man, I think Utah takes that. So, I think it'll be a great game. I mean, if Cincinnati's able to limit the run game as much as they can, um, maybe it's a closer game. I still think Utah wins that, but yeah.
10-4. Um, one of the last two games we're going to talk about. We're going to bypass the Ole Miss South Carolina game. I do think that's an upset watch game, but we're already over 30 minutes. Let's go Navy North Texas here. Huge American Conference game. Blake Horvath, Drew Mestamaker. Um, what's your thoughts on this?
I like Navy here. I think they just the way they've been able to tear up people with this crazy triple option they've got with how mobile Horvath is, and um, I mean you got to worry about his legs. You also got to worry about that running back. I can't pronounce it. Hayden, what
Yeah, Heidenbrecher or
something like
something
that.
like that.
That
Yeah.
dude's crazy too. That dude puts up points in fantasy for me every week. Um, so I think the way that they've been able to tear people up with this triple option kind of look has been really impressive. And I think I go back to the USF lost for North Texas and just seeing how I know obviously they're two different offensive schemes, but kind of the way that the North Texas defense just kind of fell apart in the later stages of the game. I think if they're able to effectively kind of set up the way they want to play the game, I think it goes in their favor. So I'm going to take Navy.
I think I'm gonna go with North Texas here. Um, big spot for them. Man, that quarterback, he can freaking sling the ball,
Nah,
man.
he's a dog. He's a
He can
dog.
freaking sling it, and I like them a lot. I like their explosiveness. I like their consistency on offense. I think this is really a game. This to me might maybe should have been game day, just because you don't get these kind of opportunities to go to programs like this on game day. Never obviously you've never been to North Texas before, but it's the Mean Green, you know. Um, it's gonna be a shootout in my opinion. I mean the Navy offense is explosive too. Um, Brian Newberry's done a great job there as the head coach, kind of building a program out of a service academy. Um, they've got a lot of the right pieces. It's going to be super entertaining. I just think that the passing attack and the overall offensive attack is going to be too much for Navy to contain. And it's kind of what's interesting to me about these American Conference games is that some of these big games are give me a job, or this is why I'm the right guy for your job, kind of showcases for some of these coaches. And I think this will be a display that Eric Morris puts on as the head coach to show that this man is ready for a bigger job like Oklahoma State. I'm going to take UNT. I think it'll be an extremely close game, under a touchdown for sure. I would say, unless it's just like a late touchdown to pull away. But yeah, give me UNT and just a nail biter, probably a high scoring shootout. Both teams in the 30s, maybe 40s, something like that. Last game, Duke and Clemson. Obviously, got to cover the Clemson game if there is one. Um, what's your thoughts on it?
Oh man, man, oh man, man. I don't know. I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the week. I don't know. I don't know about this spread, man. I don't know if we should be favored. Especially, I think for me it just comes down to defensive personnel. I think that's really what it comes down to. You've obviously got a good Duke quarterback in Darian Minsa. Um, their offense has looked pretty explosive in some ways. And man, our secondary just really like makes my blood boil watching them play football. And I think, dude, I don't know. So I think that's kind of where I'm kind of questioning what's going to go on with that. In terms of our offense, I really like Zena. I think he did a great job in terms of the SMU game. Honestly, I feel like he's the only guy who showed up to play that game. Kind of like how we were talking about with the Texas game. If they've got the backup starting, everybody else kind of steps up. Nobody else stepped up
Yeah.
except for Christopher Zena last week. I really like the kid. Obviously, we've got a loss at receiver. That makes me a little bit nervous because then we turn to two other guys that again this year just really have underperformed what people have thought they were going to do. Um, so, dude, I think like putting together just defensive woes, offensive struggles against a Duke team that is poised to like really just take their spot in the ACC. As much as it hurts my heart to say it, I think I take Duke here. I really do. I think they get it done in the Valley. As much as I hate to say it, I'm still going to cheer for Clemson. Obviously, I hope we win the game. But to me, just looking at this game on paper, looking at how we've performed against teams like SMU, against like you go back to the Troy game, right? Where the entire Death Valley is entirely silent, right? So I think if Duke is able to kind of punch us in our mouth, kind of get it done, just really take the crowd out of the game. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a long uphill battle for the Tigers. So, um, yeah, dude, I just my gut tells me to go Duke here, dude.
Yeah, my heart obviously will tell me Clemson every game. Um, we talked earlier this year earlier this week about expectations for the season. I said bake the bowl, win the bowl, and beat the Coots. Now it's just beat the Coots. Uh, I have done a lot of thinking on it. I hope the coaches want to make a bowl game, obviously, but at the same time, I don't. I hope we don't do everything that it takes to win a bowl game. I don't think that we need to play everybody. I don't think we need to play all the starters that we've been playing because they're not good enough. First of all, and quite frankly, I don't really care saying that anymore. I kind of did even going into the season, but these dudes are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions. They're big boys.
Mhm.
They wanted to get paid. I'm fine with it. But when you get paid, you also get told tough decisions. I think Cade Klubnik is going to start. He was listed as probable in the injury report listed tonight. I hope he doesn't start. This season
Yeah.
is no longer about Cade Klubnik. This season is no longer
Mhm.
about the seniors on this team. Quite frankly, this season is about resetting for next year. Um, Darian Minsa, better quarterback, even if Azina plays. Um,
Mhm.
they they have a good offense. Minsa is a very good quarterback. Defensively, they're a little bit worse than what I thought they were going to be, but they still get in the backfield at a pretty frequent rate. I think they're going to absolutely terrorize the Clemson offensive line. Our offensive line, man, um, for like the seven viewers of this show, like our parents and maybe like a couple random people that might tune in, just go watch Eric McLean's film breakdowns of our games and listen to his most recent one about the O line. It is horrendous, man. And I don't think it's a Matt Luke issue. Matt Luke didn't forget how to coach. Matt Luke's a great coach. It's a personnel issue, and we've got personnel issues all across the board.
Mhm.
Defensively, massive personnel issues in terms of speed. We get beat on the perimeter. We get beat down the field.
Mhm.
Tom Allen flat out said it. Without
Oh yeah.
actually, he
Yep.
did kind of say it. He said we don't have the personnel to run what he wants to run. We don't have the speed
Hmm.
to win in man coverage. Um, it is just an absolute. I mean, it hurts my head to like talk about our team this year because it's just mind blowing. It's just so mind blowing. The offensive personnel or the offensive play calling is still out of whack. I don't think we approached the SMU game well at all. I think we played to the complete opposite of our strengths with Vizina, um, as evidenced by our first 8 drives, only scoring on one of them. We punted or turned the ball over 7 out of our first 8 drives. Even after we hit a deep shot with Vizina, it still took us like 3 or 4 more drives to go back to it. We ran the ball with him 17 times. It was either 15, 16, or 17 times for 4 yards. And I get a couple of those were some scrambles or, he got sacked. But, like, there was way too many QB runs, and I just don't think he's a runner.
Yeah.
I just think it
I
shows
don't
how
either.
out of tune the decision
Hmm.
makers for our offense and coaching staff in general are. There's going to be a video coming out probably in a couple weeks on like the direction I think this team can go or should go in this offseason. Just my opinion. Just our opinion. Um, I have complete faith in Dabo. This year's a bust. I don't care if we play in the Fenway Bowl, the Duke Mayo Bowl, the Gasparilla Bowl. I don't care. I would rather put guys out on the field who want to be there and want to play with
Hmm.
110%, and who want to defend the Valley. Because this is the first time since 2001 we've lost 3 home games in a single season. We haven't beat a Power 4 team at home in over a year now. That's losses to SMU, um, uh, Louisville last year,
LSU.
South Carolina last year, um, Syracuse this year, LSU this year.
Hmm.
Is that it?
Think so.
Yeah. Absolutely shameful. Absolutely shameful. The Valley, I mean, the fan base sucks too. This program is just blowing up. But, I'll in the later episodes I'll talk about like why I kind of don't want us to make a bowl. Short to sum it up, it gives our program a chance to focus on what actually needs to be focused. We're gonna have a new strength and conditioning coach with Batson retiring. He should have been let go a couple years ago. Honestly, strength and conditioning has been pretty bad. But it gives the team and the team that's going to be here next year a chance to have a full winter workout of strength and conditioning. Get strong, get fast, get conditioned, get mentally tough, which I don't think
Hmm.
our team is. We have a very soft
No.
team,
Yep.
a very soft
Yep.
football team. We are
Yep.
soft as charming, especially in the key positions. We have a team that fears contact, and you can literally hear Eric McLean say it for himself watching the film. We have a team that fears contact. Um, and then it gives our staff. It gives Dabo a chance to put in new guys on the staff because that's going to happen. There are going to be new coaches on this coaching staff. It also gives the guys that are in the building a chance to evaluate a bunch of talent in the transfer portal because we have had now 2 decommitments. I would expect a couple more to happen. I think the bulk of the class is going to stay the same in high school. Regardless, if we had the number 1 class in the country, uh, we're still going to need to absolutely hammer the transfer portal. And honestly, I don't think it's as simple as that. Like, I don't think this is an overnight fix, but it gives them a chance to go out and evaluate game-changing talent for next year and put together a plan for how they're going to attack the portal. All that to say, I think we're going to lose this game, especially if Klubnik starts. I don't care how much he says he's going to pour into it. I believe him. I do think he's going to play with as much effort. I think it's going to be kind of a waste of a decision. I think it'd be better to put in the youth, put in guys who want to be there, see what we have for next year, see where we're going to lack. I would love to see Vizina get more reps and meaningful game action, but I don't think it's going to happen if Klubnik is healthy. With that being said, if either one of them started, I think we would lose this game. I don't think that the spread is Clemson and Duke are equal. We're going to win this game because we're playing at home. We haven't won at home this year. I don't know why that's going to change this week just because we're coming off of a bye. Give me Duke to win this game.
Can't help but agree.
And
Everything
then
you
we'll
said,
watch
bro.
the fan base just absolutely implode. Now, we'll beat Furman, and we'll beat. We might not beat Florida State. We're not beating Louisville. Um, if we don't beat South Carolina, it's going to be a bad podcast episode that week. It's going to be a bad podcast if we lose to that team, man. I don't care what else we do the rest of the season. Beat South Carolina. That is all I care about at this point. So that's my season now. That's my Super Bowl as a fan. They beat us 2 years in a row. I'm going to absolutely flip out. And Dabo's going to need to pick up his phone when I give him a call because I'm going to tell him what we need to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. That might be the episode. You got any closing thoughts for this week or just in general?
No, I think kind of just talking about what we started talking about at the start. This will be a crazy coaching off season. Really excited to see because I think a lot of programs are a little like are teetering almost, so it'd be really interesting to see how the rest of the season turns out. See which programs decide to stay afloat, which ones kind of fall off the edge. So I'm very excited for the coaching off season. Like you said, ready for the Super Bowl game for Clemson, South Carolina.
Yeah, UTSA is beating Tulane 31-12.
Oh yeah.
I think Summerall got a job. But yeah, I mean, absolutely insane coaching off season, and we're probably, I mean, at this point, chances are we're going to see another coach fired this week, right? Like
Oh yeah.
that's just what it kind of feels like, and statistically, at this point, it tracks that way too. But yeah, this coaching carousel is going to be insane. We left out a lot of games for this week. We didn't even talk about Ole Miss, South Carolina. Didn't talk about Georgia, Florida. It's another good week of college football. We only get about 15 of them. Is that what it is now? 15? 14 or 15 plus conference championships. So yeah, I mean, it's just time to enjoy football. It's November football. It's the best time of the year for football. Just because there's not any like true marquee matchups doesn't make it a good week. It's a great week of football. I'm excited to see what happens. Excited to see the news that breaks after certain matchups. And guess that'll be it for this episode, and hopefully be able to film another one next week. Like and subscribe.